Report right now because we want to give you an update on the status of our local lawmakers who we've been hearing from, who are in Washington today. And we've learned that Senator Ed Markey, Senator Jeanne Shaheen, Congresswoman Lori Trahan, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, Congressman Jim McGovern, Congressman Richard Neal have all written that they are safe, they are sheltering in place in the midst of this insurrection at the Capitol building. We want to bring in now Congressman Jake Auchincloss, a freshman member of Congress who joins us now, just sworn in days ago. What is your reaction to the images you're looking at?
It's a dark day for our democracy, and it's an embarrassment. I want to reinforce, though, for your viewers that we are going to certify the election results for President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. They are going to swear in as the 46th President and Vice President of the United States. The institutions of our democracy are not going to be undermined by this mob.
Where were you when this escalated? Can you give us a little bit, set the scene, where you were, what you were told, and how you left the chamber?
Most members came in this morning between 8 and 9 a.m. I was hoping as I was walking into the building that because it's pretty windy and cold today, that was going to dissuade some elements from massing. Unfortunately, it does not look like that happened. And it sort of picked up steam until about 11, 12, 1, and then it seemed like it reached a tipping point, and they started to reach the steps of the Capitol, enter the building itself. And once I saw them walking through Statuary Hall, I knew we had a real problem on our hands.
Mm-hmm. What has been the tone and tenor of your conversations over the last few days as this day was approaching and people knew that this kind of situation might escalate? This might not have been envisioned, but certainly people knew that large groups were coming to Washington. The president had spoken about people meeting on January 6th and had hoped that Vice President Pence might do something today that somehow would overturn the results of the election for him. What have been some of the conversations you've been having about the message that this has sent to Americans?
Well, from my perspective, the message is that the Constitution must be upheld. I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States on Sunday. It's the 7th time I've taken that oath. Every time I've meant it with every fiber of my being. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, these actions today on my part are very simple. Certifying the Electoral College results from the respective states are part of our duty under the Constitution, and they must be sustained. And to see my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, a subset of them, out of a lack of courage, put themselves at the whims of this would-be tyrant is deeply disappointing. And in some conversations I've had with moderate members of the Republican conference, I know that they are trying to perform mental gymnastics right now and to persuade themselves that it's somehow okay to sign on to this objections, and it's supporting the Constitution in this way or that way. And you can just see that it's tearing them apart. And it really should not be that hard.
Right.
This is about the Constitution.
Let me read to you about 3:15 this afternoon. President Trump tweeted, he hasn't spoken since he appeared to the crowd earlier today, but he tweeted, "I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you." What would you like to see or hear from the president right now? What would you like, as a member of Congress, for the president to do?
The president has not respected the law for the entirety of his tenure in office, and his actions and that call to Georgia election officials and since the election on November 3rd have only reinforced that he thinks he's above the law. His statements need to be much more explicit and much more declarative with these protesters, that they need to return to their homes and that these protests do not further his ends, because clearly they are all part of a mob and a cult of sycophancy around him, and he has got a weird kind of power over these people, and it's incumbent upon him to disperse this protest.
All right. Congressman Auchincloss, thanks so much. I know that there's a 6 o'clock curfew now for the district. Hopefully, these crowds can be peacefully dispersed this afternoon. In terms of the security of the building, do you feel secure where you are right now? And how do you hope these crowds can be told to go home today?
Well, I'm hearing reports that there was a gunshot wound on Capitol grounds. And that, to me, is unacceptable. Now, in the Marine Corps, every time you had a mission that didn't go the way you expected it to, you did a very rigorous debrief and after-action report about what went wrong, who was responsible, and how we're going to fix it. And I would certainly expect that that's going to happen amongst the responsible authorities here.
All right. Congressman Auchincloss, thanks so much. We're glad you're safe. We want you to stay safe there in your office, and we appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today.
Stay well. Thank you.
Meantime, we